The following is a special presentation of Unwritten Legends of the Gulf Coast. Full season available on the Fox 10 Gulf stream.
Hi, I'm the historian of MOT, and we're going to tell you the story of Vernadine and the mystics of time.
Stories have a way of growing over time. Tapestries woven, waiting to be told. There are tales throughout our Gulf Coast, old and new. These are our Unwritten Legends.
In around 1948, some of these guys had just come back from World War II, and they had their typical weeknight poker game. They were down at an old place called the Azalea Grill. It's on the northwest corner of St. Francis and Conception. And you know, these guys probably weren't 30 years old. One night they got to talking about what would it be like to create a Mardi Gras organization? How do you get in one? And there were some other guys there who kind of overheard the conversation. They had been in an organization themselves. They weren't happy with their experience. And the next thing you know, they're all sitting around talking about, let's create this new group. And so that's where Mystics of Time came from. They were born in 1948 at the Azalea Grill. The first year they paraded was in 1949 in February. The very first year it was just the Dragon. It wasn't known as Vernadine. And so she, at the time, was just known as the Dragon for the first 5 years or so. Then when they decided to have two offspring, two little baby dragons, Verna was the wife of a charter member. So half of Vernadine was named for her. And then there was another member. She was either a girlfriend or a wife or soon to be wife. Her name was Dina. And so that was shortened to Dean. Verna and Dean are the babies. Vernadine is the mother. Verna is the little girl. Dean is the boy. That's Vernadine being repainted. This is Verna. This is one piece of the little girl. One here to your right is Dean. And those colors, kind of the traditional pink and blue. You're going to walk right back into Verna's head right here, and then Dean is going to be right behind you. And I understand they have got the voice working again, so this year they'll cry for mama going down the streets like they used to. So you can see the theme floats, those that get redone every year, they're getting very, very close to being done, if not already. You can hear the sprayers, you can hear the compressors running. The artists are down here. These guys are great artists. What they do is something that most people don't get to see. This is what it looks like in a float barn. If you were down here in July and August, these things would be stripped out, bare white. They wouldn't have any of the color on them. They do a great job over 6 or so months. If you go back and look at pictures from the beginning, and there was a small flame that burned constantly in Vernadine's mouth originally. It was like a little pilot light. And then they would eject under pressure like a propane, and it would blow the fire out. The smoke comes out of the nose, and then it's fire extinguisher. And the driver is the one who traditionally has shot the flame and blown out the smoke. For years, it's been the driver of Vernadine, because everything, all the mechanics are right up in the front. So it's a safe thing. Everybody thinks, oh, you shoot out fire. But I equate it to working like a gas grill. You know, you have the electronic ignition on a gas grill, and you click the button and fire off the flame, and then as soon as you let the button off, it's gone. And so they don't ride down the street holding it on for minutes at a time. It's a short burst, and they just turn it off. The original float builder, his name was Ike Felis. It's believed that the float builder said, hey, this is your first parade. Let me build you something that's never been in existence in Mobile. I will build you a dragon. So it's believed that Ike Felix was the one who came up with the idea, and everybody accepted that. So in the early days, these things were built with chicken wire, 2x4s, paper mache, and the artwork at that level, even though it was great for the time, if you compare it to what we're seeing 75 years later, it's like kindergarten art versus a fine painting. The transition has been really incredible. And when we got into the float builder we had for the longest time, his name was Webb Odom. When he retired in, I guess, the early 90s, we found Herb Jenke and Royal Artist in New Orleans, and we brought them over. And the big transition in the shapes, and you can see behind me, this the first one in 1948 kind of looked like a big worm, but now you've got this head and the shapes and the 3D, and they changed us over to canvas and easy to repair, easy to shape. Heads and all can be built here, or they can be built in New Orleans and brought over. So there's a lot more artwork that goes into this. That transition happened probably mid-90s. You know, earlier we talked about how Bernadine was built and what she was made of. Over the years, things just wear out. We've rebuilt most of the components of the little carts, and what we have left here is the guts of the bodies of the big dragon. You can see those things are ancient. They were causing us trouble. We redid them, you know, and it's hard to imagine, but you can look at these things and tell how old they are, and the importance of us having to bring these things up to, you know, a higher standard. We used to have some problems in the past with breakdowns, but these things have been reliable for 70 years, but they had to be replaced. So we've come into the barn across the street. It's our second barn. Over the years, we've expanded because of the numbers of floats. But now we've come to see Emmett. He's the last of the dragons we've added. This version of Emmett is probably about 2 years old. He's gone through 4 or 5 other upgrades over the years. He's been around for quite a while. He originally appeared on Tidal Float some years back, but this is the newest and greatest version of Emmett. There was a member named Emmett who kind of lived down here at the warehouse, and this was his thing. He was named the Dragon Master. He was the one who took care of the dragons for 30, 40 years. He was so liked by the dragons, his pet dragons, that when Emmett died and he was on his way to the cemetery, the funeral procession came by the warehouse, and Bernadine was sitting out on the corner waiting there to pay her respects to Emmett. So the father of the dragons, if you want to say, he's now Emmett. I think you have seen after the MOT Dragon started, you saw other organizations sort of do similar things, and other organizations have iconic floats that are theirs, like Crew of Columbus and the World, and the stripers with the striped animals. I mean, those things have grown in stature over the years, and so I'm not going to say we started it, but Bernadine sure was an encouragement to say you can do other things with your floats that are unique. I think that sets us apart. You know, people say they're going to go downtown for a parade. They don't know we're MOT, but they know it's the Dragon Parade.
Thanks for watching Unwritten Legends. If you have an unwritten legend that needs to be told, we want to hear about it. Email us, unwrittenlegends@fox10tv.com.
Discover more unwritten legends of the Gulf Coast exclusively on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream.